Gavin, these revised estimates, they're a dramatic increase on the numbers mentioned originally.
That's right. If people cast their minds back, Colette, only 3 weeks ago, that was when Simon Coveney was outlining suggestions that Ireland may have to take up to 20,000 Ukrainian refugees. And even that number swamped the expectations that many people may have had in mind. That was only 3 weeks ago. And today, on their way into Cabinet, ministers were confirming that the now estimated number that Ireland has to plan to receive is 10 times that number, 200,000 people. And today we also got the first indications of how quickly some of them may come. Confirmation today, the number has already surpassed 10,000, but is likely to surpass 20,000 by the end of this month and 40,000 by the end of this month. And Leo Varadkar in the Dáil today acknowledged the scale of the challenge that poses to the state.
To be honest with the House and honest with the Irish people, it's not going to be possible to provide what we'd like to provide, which is self-catering, own-door accommodation for everyone in the space of a few weeks or even the space of a few months. This is going to be a very difficult crisis to deal with. And every country in Europe is going to be in the same boat in having to provide as good accommodation as we possibly can, given the circumstances.
Now, obviously, in the short term, while there are other concerns around education and access to the labour market, the state's first and foremost concern is housing all of those people, making sure they simply have somewhere to sleep when they do arrive. And on that front now, the state is going to begin to tap into the pledges of accommodation put forward via the Red Cross through the public registration portal. But a lot of that is for rooms in houses that are already occupied, and that in many instances may require Garda vetting to be undertaken, particularly if there are children involved, as so many of the fleeing refugees are. In the meantime, the government is looking at the prospect of even suspending some emergency planning laws. The government is also getting onto other major bodies to see if they can play some part in housing people.
We are now looking at the ways which we can accommodate large numbers of people in the medium to long term. That includes engaging with state agencies, state bodies in terms of what accommodation, what buildings are lying idle and could be repurposed, in terms of engaging with religious orders and the work that the local authorities are doing at the moment.
Now, as I say, the government confirming today that it is looking at suspending planning laws to allow for short-term accommodation, but it is warning that modular housing, for example, which had been proposed as one solution, is not a panacea. Leo Varadkar telling the Dáil that if it was possible to build many housings that quickly, the government simply would have already done it to cater to those who are already on housing lists across the country. The government is also then dealing with conversations with builders about seeing if it can fast-track some conversations, some constructions that's already in place. It also today announced new programmes to subsidise farmers so that they can go more grain to replace that which we cannot import any longer from Ukraine and Russia. The Cabinet being warned today the price of bread is likely to increase in the short term. All major problems and all things the government is looking at, but all simply government responses to what is yet another once-in-a-lifetime crisis.